Laquisha Williams is a world-class woman. Best-selling author, speaker, mentor, and founder of the World Class Woman Network, a premier platform for progressive women designed to inspire personal development and social change. Laquisha believes in the power of connection, collaboration, change, education, and community. She believes every woman can have it all and deserves to live a richer and fulfilling life without compromising their beliefs and morals.
Good night, everyone. Woo, woo. Oh my God, come on in. Can you guys believe it's another Wednesday? I want you guys to go and invite, and also to share this show. For those who are just tuning in, as you've heard on our announcement, I am Dr. Laquisha Williams, creator of the World Class Woman Network, where I help successful women and high-achieving women to live their best lives from the inside out. Because I believe you are truly not winning if you're not winning from within. And that's what I love about the platform, about the women, about the men that I get to interview each week here on the World Class Conversations show with Laquisha. And I know you guys have been following me. I heard someone, I think her name is Deborah, was waiting yesterday for the show. And I was like, wait, it's Wednesday. So yes, it's Winning Wednesdays, World Class Winning Wednesdays with Dr. Laquisha. And I am so happy, so honored that I get to be with you guys. Hey, Miss Rivers, welcome. I am so honored to be here. Let me tell you, this is a time where we get to disconnect from the world and connect with ourselves. There's so many things that's going on in the world and we forget about ourselves. Everyone else is a priority. Our jobs, if you're a mom, if you're a boss woman, but then we neglect ourselves. And that's the person who we want to talk to tonight, to encourage them and just to show up. We got to show up for ourselves. So those who have been following me for a while, I have been doing world-class conversations for about 6 years in person, and we outgrew that. It just kept growing, and we outgrew the space where we had it in. And now, because of the whole pandemic, we are now doing this virtually. And I truly believe that, we don't panic in a pandemic, but we pivot in a pandemic. And while I'm talking, I would love for you guys to please go out there, share this broadcast, because I'm telling you, you're going to be inspired. You are going to be empowered. And I am so excited to bring my special guest. And I know you guys are saying, you always say the special guest. Yes, everyone is special to me because I believe this. If you have a pulse, you are here to make a difference. If you are breathing, you are here to make a difference. And when I started this journey with 7 of my girlfriends in my home, and it grew to 200 plus women yearly, I never knew that I would have received the results that I have today. And I am so grateful to God for that. So I want you guys to, state where you are watching us from. I see some people from Miami. So I need you guys to just post, where are you watching this broadcast from? And I would also want you guys to connect with me. My website is at the bottom at World Class Woman Institute. So you can know what I'm doing if you're looking for someone to help you to reach your goals, to help you not to give up in this. It's because there's so much uncertainty. I'm your girl. Also, you can follow my page on the World Class Laquisha Williams TV on YouTube. So we are also streaming there. Yes, Atlanta is in the house. Welcome. So without further ado, I want to welcome to the World Class Conversation podcast, She is a girl boss. She is a mom. She is just a phenomenal woman, an author, motivational speaker, the one and only. Everybody knows her as the Duchess of Miami. And so, when the Duchess come in place, you guys, listen, y'all better get it together and get it ready. Yes, Atlanta is in the house. Pompano is in the house. Grand Bahama is in the house. New York is in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And now, without drum roll, please. Welcome and the show. Hey, Ann.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, love. I'm doing so wonderful.
I'm trying to post it right now so some folks can jump on from my Instagram. So I'm not being rude.
Oh no, that's all right. That's all right. We are having girl talk. I told you it's just going to be a candid conversation, and I'm so excited to have you. So, how are you doing?
I am absolutely amazing. I'm going through a major transition now. That's, like I said, amazing. Just seeing the acts of God of allowing us to be stripped and rebuild all over again. I know that's something that we pray for, but to actually go through it and feel it, I am doing absolutely amazing.
That's good. That's good. And so many people, we've went through the pandemic. How have you adjusted since the pandemic?
Well, I'll tell you, financially, my business has pivoted, thank God for that. But there were so many different obstacles going through the pandemic that wasn't so amazing for me, but definitely an experience. And I embrace experiences through my life. And that's where I share with other women to help to inspire them through going through those experiences. And all of them weren't so great. But that's when you open your eyes and let you know that, you know what, money is the closest thing to oxygen. But going through the pandemic, I realized truthfully that money isn't everything.
Wow, you said something very profound just now when you talked about experiences. And so we have had experiences in our lives, and sometimes those experiences can knock us off our feet. Sometimes those experiences make us stronger, wiser. What are some experience or an experience that has happened that you can share with our audience that has happened to you that made you even stronger? Could you share that experience?
During the pandemic?
Yes, during the pandemic, and then we'll walk our way through it.
During the pandemic, and you think about, we had to quarantine. Well, how long did we quarantine? Where we were on lockdown. And quarantining, we had to stay in the house. So we were used to being with people. I'm a socialite. I'm a social butterfly. So I'm used to always going out. I'm used to being around people. My mom had 5 kids, and we grew up in a 3-bedroom house. So I don't even know what it felt like to live. Hey, Laquisha. I don't even know what it feels like to live alone. I always shared everything. So, island girls, my family's West Indian. If that food was in the refrigerator, listen, nobody's name was on it because it was free will for everybody. But going through the pandemic, I went through a period of being alone, and going through that alone period, I felt abandoned. So I really had to really trust in God's word that he'll never leave you and never forsake you. And that's when us as women, men as well, that we say things because we grew up hearing it.
Come on.
And we portrayed that we knew what it felt like. We knew what it meant. But honestly, until you go through it, you don't know. So going through that whole quarantine, I was alone. I went through a major breakup with my fiance. And I was alone. My daughter's 20. So she's, have her own place and everything. So I had a lot of alone time. And my alone time was very quiet where, I could almost hear my heartbeat. And that's when we get to understanding prayer and meditation. And I would say that I was a person that did things. It was just a repetition. It was because I was accustomed to hearing things. It was because I grew up hearing things, but I actually didn't have those encounters and experiences myself until the pandemic. And it wasn't all beautiful. But in the end, it was absolutely beautiful.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. And I know so many women can identify with your story of being alone. Yes, Laquisha said familiar places keeps us in the stronghold mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people can't be able to identify with that. Yeah, Chantel says, wow.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing about that, like Laquisha and Chantel, like those are my sisters, you know? Ladies, sometimes you have to pick up the phone to your strong friend. You know, these are my friends. So there's like, Annie strong, Annie got it. She got it together, but I had to be transparent. I had to allow myself to let my friends know, dog, I'm not doing good right now. I need your prayer. I need some help. Y'all got to pick up the phone, call your strong friend, because we're so strong. And in this world, in society, we do have to protect ourselves and not take off the mask for everybody. Society tell you, take off the mask, be transparent. And yeah, but there's some people, you know, and I'm dealing with this stuff. I'm really dealing. I'm getting on my face because some people, counseling and therapy and talking to the pastor, you gotta go through it. You have to go through it. You know, taking that mask off to everybody. I'm hurting. I'm hurting to the point. The worst hurt is the one that you can't explain. You can't explain it. So y'all pick up the phone, call your friend, and when you call them and they share with you, stop listening to answer, because we know you ain't got the answer. we just want to just release it, you know, and it takes a very strong person to be able to remove everything. And I know we going somewhere in this, so y'all remember this. And if y'all pick up the phone and let people know that they can trust you with that conversation, you're not going to de-edify them. You're not going to lose respect for them. And you're not going to share what they shared with you. And when you do, remember, today for you, tomorrow for me, good or bad. So when she let her hair down and she take that mask off that she forgot that she been wearing forever, and be so transparent for you, just be a listening ear, a trustful listening ear.
That's a whole word in itself. And because I believe, well, I should ask you this. How do you believe that social media has played a part in this? Because why I ask this is because I had a show in 2019, and it was check on your strong friend. But I specifically had a panel of therapists because, and that world-class conversation should have only lasted for 2 hours. Annie, that lasted, it started from 7 and they were there until like midnight, because there was so many women who appeared on the outside to be so strong, but they wanted somebody to hear them, right? And because they're always the strong one, they're always expecting to be strong, you know? And it broke my heart. I was so heavy that night sleeping, because I was like, wow, if I hadn't done this, then I mean, like it gave them new breath, a new air. And so what you're saying is that I was guilty of this, because you would see your friends on social media or whatever, so you think everything is good. But like I said, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. So you guys who are out there who's listening, listen, if someone comes to mind, just pick up the phone. Send them a text, letting them, but also one of the things one of my therapist girlfriends told me, she said that when someone asks you if you're okay, also be honest with that. Because sometimes you'd be like, okay, I'm good. But then when someone steps to you and say, hey, you're on my heart. No, I'm good. So you shut that door when that could have been a door that's open for you. You also said something that you have to not share your mask with everybody. Everyone can't handle your stuff. So you have to be very wise in that. So thank you for sharing that. I don't know if you have something else to add with that.
But remember what we, in the beginning, you spoke about social media.
Yeah.
So the mass comes from social media.
Mm-hmm.
If you really pay attention, and I'm just a free willy person, a lot of things I don't pay attention. I'm never that person that goes through all of my likes and look who viewed my stuff. I don't. But when you start to pay attention, there's a lot of people who you do not know that's there. And when we appear, when we're present on social media, we present ourselves as, I'm happy, I'm whole, I got it together, I'm motivating. But what people need to know, sometimes that woman that's posting something motivation, she's really trying to motivate herself, right? So the persona or the perception from the outside world, they're looking at 100 likes and they're looking at the 1,000 views. So they put you on a pedestal, right? So once you remove your mask, there's people that will de-edify you. And I'm not being negative. This is just when a lot of people just won't release the mask. This is why us women, and I'm that woman, I'm doing shadow work, girl. So I'm not ashamed. I could talk about it now because I'm better now. And I'm getting better and better every day. And every day is different. But when you let that mask off with some people, and it be some of your good girlfriends, now you acting shady with me because I was so transparent with you. And I let you see me in my dark place. I let you see me when I was weak, when I was speechless. Now you being reckless with me. So now you know what that average woman does? Y'all excuse my little, she put the mask back on. Y'all know how many people happy but wearing these masks today? There's so many people happy. If it ever be over, they gonna still find a reason to wear the mask because we don't want to be us with people. Let them. Some people do not deserve to know who you really are until you can handle it. Not till they can handle it, till you can handle it. So I really feel like that mask is something that, the only way it's going to come off is we have to do shadow work on ourselves. And Ayana Van Zant and my coach, Rebecca Garrett, taught me about doing shadow work. I've been through so much in life and I couldn't understand me. So how could I be an inspiration to you and motivate you and inspire you when I don't understand me? I couldn't understand what would make me angry. Why did you get angry over that statement? I couldn't understand why was my feelings getting hurt? Why was I acting like this? And ladies, ask yourself, Chantel, Letitia, Laquisha, why do certain things make you act and respond the way that you do? So you have to do the shadow work, and doing shadow work, it's not pretty. And every day is different. I've learned so much about myself. I'm attached to people. I don't know how to let go. So I've allowed men to beat me and beat me. I don't mean physically, y'all, okay? Because to beat me and beat me and beat me all over again. Why you just ain't leave this man alone a year ago? Because I'm scared to be alone. How many of y'all can really look yourself in the mirror and say, I just don't know how to be by myself? I have abandonment issues. So I have to dig deep down. Who abandoned you? But the shadow work is something, it's for you to confront your fears and your doubts, that dark side of you that you suppress, that you sweep it under the rug, and you swept it under the rug for the past 30 years of your life. And you forgot that Mr. John Gray molested you when you was in elementary school because you swept it under the rug and you didn't tell your mama, no daddy, so you just forgot about it. That's the shadow work right there. And you don't need to do it with people. Sometimes you might need to get it with a therapist or whatever. Some people aren't strong enough. Some days you might not want to face that stuff. You know? Yeah. Remember when your mama used to leave you to her sister's house and her sister used to be going to the store and her husband used to fill on you when he used to give you the potato chips? Y'all let me know if y'all agree. So the shadow work is deep down where, ladies, we're dealing with us and ourselves. That dark side, and it could be positive sometimes, but the thing that will not allow you to pivot, the things that will not allow you to be the greatest that God say who you are, not that hurt, broken down woman. So why am I hurt? Why am I broken down? So it's not for you to start to do your work, and now you getting in your car and you want to run over to your auntie house and confront this person. That is not what you're going to do. You're going to confront the fear. And that shadow work, it's about facing a trauma. So it can be small trauma. It can be big trauma. You can be that girl that's right on this live right now that you won't sing because when you was trying to sing when you was 8 years old and your mom was so busy and hardworking, and she'll say, Keisha, go sit down. Don't nobody want to see that little dance. I'm tired, girl. So now Keisha think she can't sing and dance. And she's an amazing singer, an amazing dancer. But here she go, 40 plus years old, and she never showed the world her talent. She never showed her daughters her talent because her mom traumatized her, and she didn't even know. Traumatized her when she was a young girl. So now she thinks that nobody wants to see her sing, and nobody wants to see her dance, and the world is waiting for her. So shadow work, ladies, is very, very important. And, you know, I'm in my beginning stages, so I'm not a teacher. I am a student right now and just going through that journey of shadow work. And I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster, girl. And so I appreciate my singleness right now going through my shadow work because it's not pretty every day.
That's good. And I saw a lot of engagement when you started talking about that shadow work. And you said that you are in the beginning of that. So if someone is out there, because all of us have different stories, all of us go through different experiences, who would you suggest that a shadow work should be done? Like who should get that kind of work done?
It just depends on the individual. So I wouldn't say that it's just somebody who's struggling to get, because I would say I'm successful. You know, my business, finances, credit is good, but it was something in that little box, Laquisha, that was inside of me. So I can't say, you know, and I haven't arrived yet. I'm a student. I just say that woman that if you just feel like something missing,
Yeah.
you know you. So this is how you get to know yourself. So I can't say who needs it. I think all of us need it.
And that is good because what I was trying to get at too is that you mentioned about your therapist. And I know even in our cultures, a lot of people think that having therapy or going to a therapist is taboo, like you shouldn't do it. But I am such an advocate. So even with my clients or anyone who comes to me, I said, I can help you at a certain point, but you need to see a professional in that area. Because the thing is that what they can do and the tools that they can provide you for your mental health, just a regular person can't do that. So I applaud you for just sharing that and also encouraging the ladies and know that you are not alone. Ladies, I want you to hashtag cover. I want you to hashtag cover in the chat. And the reason I'm saying that is this. You mentioned earlier that, you know, so many people go through things, but we don't have our sisters covering us. We don't have us protecting us, and I see it. I work with women for a whole long time. And as I'm approaching 40 next month. And as I'm approaching 40, right? And I looked at myself, and not to, brag or anything of that nature. I looked at my 40 years and I said, I have not had any major conflict with women. Like, really, I never did. If we have a disagreement, I'm a big person where I'm like, let's talk about this and move on. My girlfriends would tell me that I have the gift of forgiveness. And because I'm a believer first, I know everyone's story and walk is different. And so I'm glad you guys are hashtagging it. Tangela said, hashtag cover. Keisha said, hashtag cover. Laquisha, hashtag cover. And the reason why I want you guys to do that, because we want you guys to cover your sisters. And not just cover them when it's convenient. Because sometimes on a disagreement day or a bad day, then they uncover you. And that's the sad part. Like, I've heard like horror stories. And so we want to do a much better job this year and beyond in covering our sisters. So I know you guys may have said, oh, her face looks familiar. I've seen her somewhere. Well, she was on a highly rated TV show, the Iyanla Van Zant's Fix My Life. And I was just flipping through the channels this day because I love to watch Iyanla too and hear the stories. And I'm like, hold up. I said, I know that person. Like, I've seen her, And so you and your family shared a story on Iyanla Van Zant. Could you share and tell us a little bit about that experience?
Absolutely. Wow. Well, we were on the Iyanla Van Zant show, and it was all about a horror story. Back in 2006, I had a party to my house for my cousin. She wanted to have a party, and my cousin is from the islands. I'm West Indian. I just been in the States so long, so people think I'm from North Carolina, so country, but I'm really an island girl. And so my whole family is, and my cousin Carla, she moved to the States, and she wanted to have a party for her son. And I said yes. And getting prepared for the party, we were home invaded by 5 guys. We were at gunpoint in the house for about 20 minutes. Then my sister and her kids came, my sister Shantara, my nephew Tony, and my niece Shanteria. They were on the outside of the door coming in. And they were knocking at the door to come in to help us to start preparing for the party. But behind the door, we were held hostage in the house at gunpoint. So the gunman wanted me to open the door to let them in. And I'm pleading with him, no, please don't let them in, because I knew that on the other side of this door, it wasn't going to be nice. And he took me to the door at gunpoint to open the door. And when I tell you at that point, ladies, God gave me the strength of a lion. Because opening that door, it was only 1 or 2 things that were going to happen. Either they were coming in to die, or I was going out to run for our lives. And this was a decision that it was so haste. And a lot of people who've seen it, like, you can't make an irrational decision like this. I mean, I don't even know the words to describe it. But I pushed the door and I say, run, run, run. They're trying to rob us. So I'm running from my house down the street, and I'm running for my life. And at this point, I was shot in my face. Ladies. The bullet is still here, and I did not have any reconstructive surgery or anything. God has healed me. I promise, and I'm not being conceited, vain, or anything. I'm saying this in the humblest way. I look better, more beautiful than I did before this bullet was in my face. Okay? Wow. And when I was running, And when I look back, nobody was behind me.
Mm.
So at this point, I had to make another decision to go back and check on my family. And when I went back to check on my family, it was a bloodbath. Everybody was shot. My nephew, Tony, who's absolutely, he's a youth pastor right now. And I can smile about this, y'all. My tears that's trying to come out is tears of joy because I had the ability to watch God work. See, this ain't nothing nobody told me. I be flipping out a little bit, but I know God, I seen his work. You know, this was a bloodbath. My nephew was 4 years old at the time. He was shot in the head and lost his eye. My niece Shanteria, she was shot in the head. Everyone had headshots. So they wanted to assassinate everybody. Shanteria wears a metal plate for the rest of her life. And my sister Shantara was shot in the neck. And by the grace of God, the bullet just didn't hit a main artery or her spinal cord or anything. So she's absolutely mobile. She just have all of us have some type of nerve issues, whatever. And my cousin Carla and her son Shaquan, they didn't make it. And that's just a whole nother part of this conversation. But Tony was shot at 4 years old and he was in the coma for a few weeks. And this little boy came out of the coma sold out for God. Nobody pushed God on Tony. Nobody. This little boy came out of the hospital spitting on his hands, laying his hands on the family. And this is what brought us all together. And through this whole experience, it did tear our family apart. So we went through years of feuding and back and forth and heartbreak and you name it. So the reason for us going on the Ayana Von Zant show, I went on there taking full responsibility of my lifestyle. So my lifestyle is why this happened. I was living the street life. I was a stripper for 9 years. I was attracted to guys who were living the fast life, who was making money. And that is what attracted the gunmen to our household and why my family was affected that way, which me and my sister, we hadn't spoken for like 5 years. So after that, our relationship, it was always an underlining anger, issue with her. And I absolutely understood. So I don't know if you want me to stop right there or what.
Keep going. You in it. You in it. Just go ahead. I don't want to stop your flow.
So, so the reason going to the show is because I always wanted to be able to remove that static between me and my sister. For number one, I absolutely understood how she felt. Mm-hmm. So she didn't have to hide it from me. I understood because as a woman, anybody, if something happened to our kids, all of us are saying, well, why had to be my kids? Why couldn't have been somebody else's kid? And my kids weren't there and hers were. And that's my little sister. I love everything about her, So I understood. And I wanted her to share that story because gun violence is something that's going on around the world. There's millions of mothers that have lost their children to gun violence. So there's millions of women who felt the same way that Shantara felt. But I knew I didn't have the ability to, to mediate this conversation with her or none of my family because it was just so close. So the reason going to sit with Ayana was to be able to have somebody from the outside to help to mediate the conversation and allow us to move on in life.
So that is so important. I just spoke on Tuesday night, and one of the first points I said that you had to take responsibility. And you just said that. You said that you wanted to take responsibility for whatever had happened. So what was that process like for you to say, you know what? I need to take responsibility for this. Like what light switch, what happened in your mind that you said, I have to take responsibility for this? Where were you in your life at that point?
I'm that type of person. I'm just anything, even with my friends. If we get into something, say, friend, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that like that. You know, I do that. I'm transparent. I'm not perfect. I be messing up, but I know myself. You know, so it wasn't something that I had to convince myself. It didn't. I took responsibility the day it happened.
Mm.
You know, and so along with that was, you know, my sister felt like the guy who I was involved with at that time, why did, you know, I go back to him, you know? So this go back to shadow work with abandonment issues.
Mhm.
Everybody else abandoned me, he didn't.
Mm.
Everybody, my mom had to make a decision whether she was going to be there with me or be there with my sister. I was shot in my face and in both of my hands, you know, and her two kids were shot, and she was too. So my mother had to make a decision. Am I gonna take care of Ann or take care of them? So she left me, you know, and not in a malicious way. So y'all please don't take this out of context on Facebook, because y'all be crazy. I got to say it like this.
Let them know.
She had to make a decision, and I felt abandoned, but he was there. And you know, growing up in South Florida, and this may be, I can only talk about where I'm from. So we don't look at a person who was selling drugs or hustling as a bad person. Okay, we know drug dealers are very, very good people. Pastors have been to prison, have did things, and now they sold out for God. And then, you know, just think about it. When you come from the inner cities and you live in a middle class neighborhood, you'll see the Scotts on the left and the Williams on the right. And the Scotts, the daddy worked for the waste and management, and the mom was a teacher, and they was driving an old Monte Carlo, and they grass wasn't cut, and they gate was rusty. But then you got the other family on the other half, right? And they was hustlers. They had the nice cars, they had the nice remote control gate, nice manicure lawn, and Christmas time they got everything. So when you come up seeing those kind of things, you kind of say, I want to live like the family on the right, because they going to work every day and they still struggling. So you tend to be attracted to, y'all gotta feel me, because I got a lot of, you know, heat from that, because I don't know if people be pretending. We got to keep it all the way real. I know me. I'm getting to know me so much more, and not to allow people opinion and perception to change my thoughts. We know a lot of y'all know drug dealers, hustlers, boosters, and I'm not, you know, celebrating the lifestyle, but we know those people and they're not bad people. I know a big drug dealer named Isaac Hicks when I was growing up. The biggest drug dealer that cost all his time in Miami and died in prison. But every day, nobody was hungry in that neighborhood. I gave all the families money to buy groceries. All the kids got $1 to go to the ice cream truck. So I wanted a drug dealer. And so the guy who I was with, he was a very nice, he didn't even carry a gun. He wasn't that type of person. The only thing that he did that wasn't right, he was a hustler. They sorted him out. So I didn't know how to separate the two. I didn't know that. He's not a bad person. And to this day, I still feel the same way. And people feel like I should have left him. So many people left me. He didn't leave me. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I stayed in that relationship.
Wow. It's just, I just want to take a pause, and I am just so grateful for your life, your ministry, your lifestyle. I am so grateful that your family, your sister, and your nephew and niece are still here. I'm just grateful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Annie. Like, you don't have to even share that, but through your story can help so many people who are stuck, who are in bondage because they're ashamed of their story. And I was trying to hold back tears because I know the weight of what happened that could happen, you know, what you were feeling. Like, that is so weighty, and people don't realize what others go through. And social media has made it even worse. They say anything, but you don't know that you are hurting someone. So I'm glad that I use my platform, all my platforms, to have conversations that unite us and not divide us. So I want to thank you for your presence. Thank you for your light. Ladies, even before we go on, for those who are in the audience, send Ann some love right now. Just show her you support her, you love her, you feel her. Just let her feel it up on this virtual platform. Yes, yes. Angela says you are awesome and your story will bless so
Thank you. Thank you, Tangela.
Tisha said covered. Like, that's all I'm asking. Like,
Let me tell you something. Let me interject.
come on.
Laquisha, me and Laquisha don't see each other that much, but I'm gonna tell you something. Coming off that hiatus years ago, I moved from Miami and came back. I have so many certificates and license under my belt, y'all. Let me tell you something. And I am a master. You know, they say jack of all trades and master of none. I mastered. Laquisha is absolutely amazing. If y'all don't know her, y'all need to get to know her. Golly. Blah, blah, blah. Laquisha restored me. I moved back to Miami. Everything that I had in my car, I had a little red Benz Mercedes at that time, CLK, with all my stuff. I needed a job. Me and Laquisha had this mutual guy friend, and he knew I was looking for a job. And Laquisha did not know me from a can of paint. Laquisha can help anybody open up a dental office. She is cold-blooded, y'all. We got some powerful Black women on this line right here. Laquisha, she can put out everything and insurance plans together. She can change a frown into a smile. A doctor don't even have to do nothing. She's almost a dentist. I don't even know why she haven't. But what I'm saying is, Laquisha gave me a job when I was at the lowest point of my life. And at that point, I wasn't even qualified no more, because I needed to go and to redo my license, because I haven't worked in the field for that long, a refresher course. Laquisha put me in the office, all my benefits, started me at $20 an hour. Before you know it, I'm managing the office. I'm running from Fort Lauderdale, South Beach, Boynton Beach. Man, sister put me in the game. And this gave me my life back, because here I didn't have to depend on a man no more. Now I'm making $20 an hour, girl. I'm doing it big at this point, okay? And she didn't have to do that for me. She didn't have to do that for me. And I was a stranger. And I knew I wasn't qualified at that time no more. And she told me not to worry about it. She took her time with me. She poured into me. She had my back. And guess what? She left the whole dental corporation, because this was a big dental company, and went somewhere else. But she put me in there and put me in position. Put a sister in position, y'all. Put them in position. Sometimes we don't feel like we qualified, but you can tell your sister, you qualify, sis. Let me help you do this. And you can't do it for everybody, but I just want to say to her publicly, thank you, Laquisha, for what you did to me. I remember, and I'll never, ever, ever forget, because you didn't just give me some money. You put me in the game, and you put me inside a very reputable dental practice with real doctors that's all around the world, and allow me to get my confidence back, my bag back, and everything. Now I taught my daughter running dental offices now, thanks to you. So, sisterly love, thank you for covering me.
Yes, man. I wish I could get Tisha to pop up in here. Like, that is so good. That was so good, because, and I allow you that moment, because we need to celebrate our sisters. They need to hear that we appreciate you. And like you said, you don't have to talk to a person every day, but this was the moment. This was God's divine moment for you to be able to share that with her. I'm sure Tisha gonna sleep really good tonight, just to hear those thoughts. You know what I mean? You just said, yes. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you. That was so awesome. And we all have to do that. Like we all need to find that sister. Anne said that a sister put her on when she was at her lowest. How many times we overlook a sister because they are in a season that we're doing better than, and we'd be like, oh, I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
She's in tears right now. But she, even though she was working, doing her thing, she looked out for Anne, and now Anne is here able to share her story around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Millions, because millions of people watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
To be free. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And yes, yeah, you're in tears. I know it's tears of joy because so many times we go through life as strong women, and we don't hear that all the time. We don't we appreciate you. So that was big of you for that as well. Thank you.
And we can't forget, sometimes we get so busy in life and you forget, who gave me that push that I need. Because sometimes we just need a little push, and sometimes we're looking for that push from people that's not even able to give it to you. Mm-hmm. Because dentistry is repetition. It's just repetition. It's the same thing. She helped me acquire a skill in a position that no man can ever take from me. Mm. I always have a job. People always gonna need teeth.
Yes, they will.
I'm an entrepreneur, but I'll never be in lack because this sister, she put me in the game. She put me in the game professionally. And that's just some of the things that, just going through life. And when you get at that, that point where you get low, is a lot of things that we can really reflect on to allow us to pick ourselves up, because we beat ourselves up more than anybody else. Yeah, and she taught my daughter. And she taught my daughter as well, Laquisha. Yeah. And I was a stranger then. I can say that, y'all. A stranger. She didn't know me.
Wow. That's see, I'm full circle. She said, full circle. Mm-hmm. Wow. So now after that horrific incident that you had, how has the healing process been for you and your family?
Okay, well, that has been amazing because me and my sister, don't get me wrong, we were always communicating and talking, but it will always be some moments where did this attitude come from? Where Tony, he catch seizures on the regular now. So, and she has a job, so Tony might catch a seizure and he has to go to the hospital. And, then that's my auntie time that I have to go and be with him. So it's always, that little energy right there. But since we went on the Ayana show, like, my sister, we're calling each other, we're praying, we're doing shadow work, and we're uplifting each other. We're washing each other's feet. I mean, we're just doing a lot to enlighten ourselves as one. And the show really, really helped us with that, because going on the show, and it's a lot of things, it's production, y'all. So a lot, and I'm not mad at Ayana and the network, but it was a lot of things that was removed, so you guys didn't get to see that. So it looked like, oh, we were downplaying our moms and our dads, stuff like that. So going home after that, now it wasn't just about me and my sister. Now I got to talk to my dad. Dad, no, it looked like that. I did defend you. I did let them, you was a good father to me. You didn't abandon me. My daddy was a drug dealer, but he was an amazing contractor. He went to prison. He was a good man. Can nobody tell me that? But with production, it was edited out. So it looked like we agreed with it. But we didn't. So coming back home, now I got to go talk to daddy. Daddy, it wasn't like that. Now I got to talk to my mom. Mom, no, we don't feel like you abandoned me. You got to go to work. You're an island girl. Your parents went to work every day, even if you had to stay home by yourself and eat noodles.
Come on.
And that's not a bad mother.
Right.
It wasn't a bad mother. And we just can't let people in their perception. You know what I tell people? When the players of the game change, the rules change.
That's good.
We can't take our lifestyle and put it, and line it up to what society think, and those people so-called have their life together. We know our parents left us in the house by ourselves all day while they was going to work, and you bet not open the door, and you bet not do nothing. Yeah. I'ma beat you. And that wasn't child abuse.
Right.
You understand? So we had to go through that stuff when we came home. So our healing went far beyond just us, because now we had to defend ourselves with family members and friends and people in the community. And I thank you for inviting me, because I got to a point where I didn't want to deal with people. I was tired of all of the comments. And of course, anything that you do publicly, you got to embrace it. You can't get mad with what people say. So I went in hermit mode. I didn't want to deal with people. Now I have to deal with my family. So, and we had to do that alone. There was no mediator for that. It was nobody that we could call and say, could you explain to my dad how production goes, that they edit out all of the good stuff with us defending our father? That was 3 days, y'all. 3 days in what, like 30, 45 minutes? Y'all ain't see half of what we were dealing with there. But coming home, it was a whole nother battle.
Wow. So that makes a lot of sense now. So you wrote the letter to Iyanla, right?
Yes.
So what that process is like, you wrote the letter, then they interview you guys to see if the story fits for the show?
Yes. Basically it's about a 3-month long process, because once you submit your letter, they call you and whatever, then you'll do some Skype interviews with the whole production. You never get to see Iyanla. So you might do one with one person and do another one with one person. All of us had to do that, and then they need to do research to make sure that you're telling the truth. Right. And so that process, it was long and boring, and and this is where people really dig and prowl into your life. And we gotta know how to, because it got to a point where I had to say, I'm not giving you all that information.
Wow.
I did. I'm not giving you all that information.
That's how much they were prying.
But I understand. But I understand me, and I gotta stand my ground.
Right.
Right. It's all about my daddy and his past. And it's not about my ex and his past. It's about me and my family, my sister and mom. So we're gonna do this. So I stood my ground, and y'all, it happened.
Right. That's good.
It happened.
I like what you said. So even after you guys, we saw what we saw for 30 minutes, right? And what we saw was what we saw, but then you had other people, other family members like your dad and your mama, those who were watching it while we were watching it, and were like, well, what happened? You didn't defend us. So tell me a little bit more about that. You had to now say, okay, Dad, no, they cut that out. So we want to do this or do that. Talk a little bit about that.
Dad, what bothered my dad was the way that it looked. He didn't want us to feel that way about him. And I had to let him know, you my Superman. I don't feel that way about you. If we got to do it again, Daddy, I'm by your side. So it was, now I had to go home and give my dad security. I had to allow him to understand, I don't feel like that, but it's production. I didn't know. It wasn't like I could pick up the phone to say, Iyanla, could you explain to my daddy that y'all edited out all the stuff? I couldn't do it.
Right.
So now, doing that, and it was so much with family members, career trip, family members, friends, they calling and, making a scene, but production, that's why when y'all look at TV and social media, everything is edited, everything is filtered to make it impactful.
Wow. So what would you say to people, like regular people like us who are watching reality TV? Because social media, people can be so hard on individuals. Like I've seen like comments of on blogs, and I'm like, geez, you don't even know their story. Like, why are you all up in their marriage? Like, you're not there. But
Mhm.
people become so protective, like like they know, like me, like we girls, like like
Opinionated. But
yeah,
see, people will do that because it's not them on this screen. So they can hide their hand. They can hide their flaws. They
like,
can hide their insecurities and their darkness. Most people who have an opinion and they're trolling, they messed up. And I
mm,
understand that and I get it. But when you look at reality shows, it is reality, but it's a lot edited out. And you know, some things they just have to do. But this was real reality. There's no paycheck for this. This is help. So basically, it doesn't matter what TV show that you go on, it's always going to be filtered. It's always going to be edited. And if you ever decide to let your hair down just like that and to do those things, you have to be ready for it. Y'all look at Shay Johnson. Shay Johnson and Ayana, they went toe to toe. I don't have nothing bad to say about Shay or Ayana. You got to be ready for that when you go. You got to be ready and you can't feel attacked. One thing about me, I can stand for constructive criticism. I can stand to be corrected. I can stand to be checked, like we'll say around the way. I can stand that.
you were great on the show, though. You guys represented well.
I mean, that was, you know, I really broke down a lot on the show because it was a lot of things that I had to reflect on that I didn't even remember. Go back to that shadow work. We sweep so much under the rug, you know, till we forget what things look like and sound like and feel like. And for me, seeing that stuff, it just hurt it like so bad. And I felt so responsible and seeing the pictures and all that kind of stuff. And y'all know what? My sister is a person, she's very protective about herself. And she'll probably never forgive those guys that did that. And it's horrible as this situation. What I didn't want them to get the death penalty. And I didn't know how to say it. I didn't want my heart just I was like, we sisters, we sisters and brothers. They were West Indian, they were Jamaican. So I felt like we was family or something like that. I'm like, dang, like why y'all did I was more hurt than angry. So I didn't want them to die. I didn't want them to die. I wanted them to pay for what they did, but my heart didn't want that for them. Now my sister, y'all seen her. She was like, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. What y'all gonna do? Where the guns at? And all that stuff. I'm like, girl. So that was that's a whole nother story, y'all. So I didn't want the eye for eye or tooth for tooth. I wanted to see them. I wanted to talk to them. Like, why y'all did that? Why y'all just ain't let us go? Carla was just trying to give her son a superhero party, and she you know, just the pictures and things from that. I just remember Carla shielding her son.
Oh, wow.
So the bullets actually went through Carla's body into her son.
Wow. Wow.
So she died being a superhero to her son.
Wow.
And that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt it. And just seeing the guys in court, one of them, it was 5 of them, 3 of them were not in the same, because they all had separate trials. But the first trial, he caught about 6 life sentences. And he seemed very remorseful. And I don't know if I'm being naive or not, but God got my heart and my mind. And I seen hurt in him. Now, the other guy, because they trials weren't together, it was a total different energy. Like he wasn't remorseful or anything like that. So with my sister saying that, she was more like, he need to die because he don't even care what he did to us, and that was a wound that was open all over again because we had to shield her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, he don't even understand.
Mm-hmm.
He don't even understand.
So with this whole process and what you and your family have done, you continue to soar, you continue to rise above all those experiences, and which you were able, and you were so brave to share it on national television for the world to see, knowing that there could be backlash, but you said, you know what, I have to share this. What is something that you wanted or you want the audience to leave from, even from tonight, from what you have went through and where you are today? What is something that you want them to know from your experience?
Before I was even on the show, I wrote a book entitled of Duchess of Miami. And I didn't even bring it on here because I didn't come here to promote that. I came here to share with the women, very transparently, because it's not about the money. But however, I had already written a book. I had already told my story. Ladies, learn to tell your own story. Never give anybody else the privilege to write and tell your story. And once you tell your story, you got the pen that you can change your own narrative. And it's never too late. Change your narrative. Share. And some of you might not want to share. And it might be sharing with, women empowerment. It might be that good girlfriend that you need to pick up the phone and talk to her and share with her something that you've been through. But you can change the narrative of your story. However it started, it do not have to end that way. Trust and believe me. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going, because this was enough. Thank you, Keisha. This was enough to really knock me off my pivot. And it did a few times, but I get back up. I have enough. I have a lot of good girlfriends with 10, 15, 20 years under our belt of knowing each other, like real friendship. I'm not talking about that. Oh, I don't have enough. I got a lot of friends, good friends, who helped me through the way. Some of us no nonsense, girl. You gonna cry for one more day. We finna get up and we finna do this. Get yourself up. Get up. Get back at it, because it will knock you on your pivot. People are mean out here and people are unforgiving. So, but basically, don't let that stop you. It's always somebody there that just need to hear your story. You know how many people, just as much nasty messages I got even more very pleasant messages, people praying for me, people who want me. You know how many other people that I turned down that I did not want to go on their show, because you know why? I didn't want to put myself in a position that I wasn't going to be protected. If I feel like you're not going to protect me, I'm not rolling with you. I'm not getting on your live. I'm not doing anything. And I felt like Laquisha was going to protect me if these ladies started trolling or whatever. But
I don't attract that. Let me interject there. I don't even attract that. And she is telling the truth, because she was like, I'm sure I want to, like she was like wondering like whether or not, and I felt her, and I put myself in that situation, because people attack you, like even personally with my parents, and because who they are in the Bahamas, the attack. And I said, you know what? I don't ever want to be the sister, the girl or a woman cannot come to because of other people. So I have to protect my sisters. I have to protect my sisters, because if we don't cover each other, then what is it? You know what I mean? We talking about empowerment and all of this stuff and women, but we have to be able to be there. And I was going to, I'm proud of that. I don't attract that to my page, but I'm even was shocked when you said people were negative, and I was like, well, what's negative about the story? Like, I watched the
People acting like, oh, you messing with a drug dealer. I want to stop lying. Stop it, please. There's so many people, and it's not for everybody. But we can't look at people. Our pastors have passed. Our pastors, some of them telling it and some of them not. So how could you, discredit a man who sold drugs or whatever it is? As long as he ain't a rapist and a murderer, we could forgive him. And he's not a bad man. But people act like they don't know that, and they just so mean and so opinionated, and they come in a rat pack together, So I mean, you might not attract them, but remember, this on social media. And it's on a lot. Anybody could jump on there. Girl, you see them on there. They just do it.
And also, because even being on Ian Levanson, that it's people who don't even know you would have so much to say. And it's our duty to cover one another. And I mean that genuinely from my heart. And, your story has been so empowering. And your story is different from my story. My story is different from Tangela's story, Laquisha's story, Maxine's story, Keisha. All of it. The thing about it is, guess what? If you guys didn't know, all of us have a story.
Yeah.
But it takes the bold ones, the ones with tenacity who want to go forward and share the world and share with the world their story, the ones who will share their story. And so you can't be that one. So if you have gotten anything out of this conversation tonight, is share your story. Because there are almost 8 billion people on this planet. And God has a specific number of people assigned to you. Yes, there are people who are assigned to take you off course. But like you said, if you have a few good sister friends, family friends, that's all you need to go.
What the Bible say? Just a few good men.
Just a few good men, right? Yes. Share your story, ladies. We all have stories, and I am so empowered and inspired by your story. I had to watch it like the whole weekend. I had to record and keep watching. I was like, oh my God, because you never know. Like I don't know you like that, so I didn't know anything about you just on social media. So for me to see that and to hear that story and to see that you are alive, let me tell you something. You are alive, and I'm getting emotional. You are alive to tell your story, and that is so much to be grateful for. Like, I have a living miracle in the front of me, interviewing me on the world-class conversation show, Complete Miracle. Show this and some love in this chat. Show us some love.
I love y'all.
Share this. So, I mean, there's so many people. Yes, the story is part of who you are. That's not everything about you. What are some of the things that you are working on and you would like our audience and our viewers to know about you and to follow you?
Well, I'll tell you this. Right now, don't get so excited about my life, because right now, ladies, I'm working on me. I'm working on my mental health. I'm working on my heart. I'm working all my heart, body, mind, and soul. So, and this way you get to the point in your life where you understand that money isn't everything. Financially, life is good. But however, I had to really get out the game. I had to sit on the sideline and become a sponge and a student to really figure out what is it, the purpose that God has for me. He already gave me the money. Now, where's my kingdom work? What I gotta do? So right now, I'm being quiet. I'm being to myself. I'm on the sideline doing my shadow work and dealing with my mind and my insecurities. I have them, y'all. What's making me happy and what's making me sad, because when I come back, I'm coming back stronger than ever, but I gotta strengthen my muscles right now, y'all. So I don't have anything to share with what I'm doing besides I'm doing the work on me right now.
Woo! If that's not enough, Like, because I always say this, and this is just not a cliche, that you have to disconnect to reconnect. And you're doing that because you have to do the work. And there's seasons. And that season of you doing the work will be done, will be over with. And then you will come out better and bigger. You know what I mean? And this is the thing that I want to even encourage you, that sometimes God will have you like in a slingshot. So right now you're in that working period, working on yourself. Man, it might be ugly because some old things are coming up. But let me tell you, when that season is over, God is going to have you as a slingshot. And if you know a slingshot, it goes further than you can ever imagine. So somebody out there may think you may be missing out on some things. You ain't missing out on anything, because your times are in God's hands. And what I know about God is that he will place you. He already have the date, the time, the access, whatever it is that your heart's desire, they are waiting on you. Because one thing I do know is this, that whatever has your name on it, ain't nobody can take it away from you. No time. I don't care what it is. So sometimes you are just that slingshot getting ready to be released out into the world to do bigger and better things. And I thank you for trusting me on the World Class Conversations show. And I pray that even our sisterhood and our connection continue to grow and to continue to blossom, and continue to do the work. And I know you said you're not here to talk about the book, but she has a book out there, and you want to share at least where they can get it from?
Yes, my book is entitled The Duchess of Miami, Death Before Dishonor. And I'm telling my story, y'all, okay? It's all about me growing up in the sunny South Florida. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster. And I'm talking about all of the obstacles. I caught a drug trafficking case in 2002. I was pulled over in Palo Pinto, Texas, trafficking 40 keys of cocaine. And God allowed me to get on the stand, judged by 12, and walk away a free woman without telling on anybody. All right. So I'm telling my whole story, y'all. And it goes into the home invasion and everything. So you can pick up my book at duchessofmiami.com. Or I'm on Amazon as well, The Duchess of Miami by Ann Maynard. I'm also on Instagram at Duchess of Miami, DUCHESS305. The link is right there. And also on Facebook. I'm not that active on Facebook, but you can still send me a message. That's Ann, Duchess of Miami, Maynard, Maynard. Thank you. Y'all will love the book. Trust me, if you order the book from my website, I send you a free gift with the book. And I also sign a book autographed personally to you with a message from me. And it's an amazing, amazing book. I promise you, you won't disappoint it. Just all the reviews that I've been getting, people have been reading the book, and one day they done with the book. It's a page turner, and it's just full of excitement and good, the bad, the ugly. I'm not just telling my good, I'm telling my bad too. When I absolutely messed up, broken and disgusted, and things with writing that book, it made me really realize some things about myself that I never want to do again. So y'all, if you really, really want to hear my story, you'll go ahead and pick up that book at duchessofmiami.com.
Woo! There you have it. There you have it. Oh, let me tell you. I mean, the hour has went by so fast. But when you're having fun and when you're getting breakthroughs and when women are seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, and I believe that's what you have provided for us tonight, a light, because I'm sure many of them are not able to identify what you have, a bullet in your face. Like, she is a miracle. I mean, it's just it's just crazy, right? But it has a way of connecting. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being here with me tonight. Ladies, thank you for just hanging out with Ann and myself. And, you can join me here every Wednesday. Before I wrap up, I don't know if you have any final words you want to share?
I mean, I said it all, ladies. Do the work on you. All of us needs to do our shadow work. If you at a place and you're dealing with your identity, you feeling like why you stuck in one place, why you can't pivot, why you're not getting to that next level, get in the mirror and do your shadow work. If you don't understand what shadow work is, go to Google, go to Amazon, go to YouTube and put in shadow work, and you're going to see so many videos that people are talking about their shadow work, and dive into it and start your process. It will absolutely change your life. And in the midst of you doing the work, you're going to see the elevation in your life happening transparently. You're going to see it. So ladies, do the work on you.
There you have it. I have nothing else to say, but do the work. Do the work. Hashtag do the work. So that when those who are watching the replay, they would be like, oh, I got to see what this is all about. We have to do the work, ladies. And that's where the freedom begins. And thank you once more, Anne. I honor you. I salute you for being just this amazing individual, amazing gem. And I pray that, and I know that God has many things great in store for you. So ladies, thank you for joining me here on the World Class Women Conversation. Join me each Wednesday at 8 p.m. where we provide conversations that unite us and not divide us. Have a good night.
Good night, ladies. Thank you, Laquisha.
You love.